Today on the topping show, the comment section without Brett Cooper makes $0 on average and is still only losing subscribers. Chicago mayor says that ICE raids are akin to terrorism. A truck pushes through a mob and goes viral on social media. The Mustang GTD starts at $327,000. And your child highchair is being recalled because it might be deadly. All of that and much more on the topping show. Thank you everyone for taking time to tune in today. Today's episode of The Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency in IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Guy says he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or a business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, still giving away a free Flamethrower with every IT purchase, with Picatinny rail adapters that can mount it to any standard AR-15, like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the Flamethrower button to learn more and see me shooting a flamethrower. And lastly, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part of the podcast, you have the official pricing for 2025 Mustang, and it is a pretty penny to say the least. Now this is brought to us thanks to Jack Fitzgerald, who's a writer at caranddriver.com. And they say, quote, 2025 Ford Mustang GTD officially starts at $327,960 before options. They say that one lucky owner posted their GTD's window sticker online and gave us our first look at the ultimate Mustang price breakdown, which is even more painful when you consider the extortion. I mean, the local registration fees or sales taxes on the vehicle. I believe in Texas is 8.2 or 8.5%. Sorry, 6.8%, which, yeah, that the sales tax or the registration fee on that car is worth more than my Honda Civic Si. Though what I would argue, she's a lot better because my Honda Civic Si comes with a third pedal, also known as a manual transmission, as all awesome sports cars should have by default, but I partially digress. The Mustang GTD does look really, really cool. I mean, it's meant for breaking track records, but unfortunately, yeah, it's automatic only. Now, they say, quote, with a $10,000 carbon fiber roof and $1,500 red brake calipers, which, yeah, that is a pretty penny. $1,500 for red brake calipers, which, again, that is like, I'm not saying that's pure profit, but that's highly profitable. It's smart from a business perspective, and it gives it a little extra spice. It looks a little bit cooler when you have those nice red accents. Truth be told, if I ever get to the point of my business grows, like to the point where I have my own dedicated sports car, I'd love a green Porsche with yellow brake calipers. I think it does. It's a nice little touch, but I partially digress. Now, they say, quote, when this first broke cover in August 2023, the Ford Mustang GTT was anticipated to carry a roughly $300,000 starting price. Sometime after that, the rumored starting price edged closer to $325,000. Now we can confirm it's $327,960. Now, this window sticker is credited to Kelly Eichen, who reached out to Car and Driver confirming the pricing and shared their window sticker, which, yeah, let's bring that window sticker up here. Now, the real painful part is that's the MSRP, or manufacturer's suggested retail price from the factory. That's not what the dealership might charge you for. They like to do the market adjustments, aka raking you over the coals. And it's a consumer's fault because they keep paying for that. I can't believe my local Honda dealership has a Type R with a $5,000 and $10,000 for SI, and the Type R, it's like a $5,000 and $10,000 adjustment to for the market. People keep paying it, so dealerships will of course keep doing it. But I partially digress. There you can see the nice Ford Mustang GTD window sticker there, which, if you were to frame that and auction that off, that also would probably be worth more than my car to a collector. But again, I partially digress. They say that since Icahn kept the options list to a minimum, we don't know how much some of the other options cost. Still, the Monterey for this specific car includes $10,000 carbon fiber roof and brake calipers. The car is not equipped with the optional aero package, so we're in the dark about the price about the drag reduction system. Instead, this GTD will be outfitted with a huge static wing with multi-matic. Spokesperson told us produces more downforce at 150 miles per hour than the Porsche 911 GT3 RS at the same speed. Now, they also note that still, even without the laundry list of options, every GTD comes with a thundering supercharged 5.2-liter V8 that generates 815 horsepower and 664 foot-pound of torque. This also comes with the standard, I'm definitely going to butcher this, though not on purchase, Acropovic titanium exhaust, which you can listen to in the dark side of this video. I can explain that in the email to car driver. There's a lot of Mustangs drove from Dubai to GTD. In his words, quote, "Although I love all performance vehicles, I especially love Mustangs," unquote. They say that once he takes delivery of the vehicle, he plans to drive it to the Virginia International Raceway to Laguna Seca, stopping at road courses and drag strips along the way, which is refreshing to see a car enthusiast actually be the purchaser of the vehicle and not someone who buys it as an investment and just throws it into a garage and treats it like a garage queen and just, never drives it, keeps the miles low and hopes that they're going to be able to retire it when they send it to Barrick Jackson auction in a couple of years, which, not financial advice, but yeah, that's one of the dumbest things you can do, since I think only the Ferrari GTO and one or two other vehicles historically have ever beat like an S&P 500 index fund. Again, not financial advice. I'm just saying, historically speaking, these things have been, rudimentary compared to their competitive financial investment mechanisms. But again, it is so satisfying that he's actually going to use this vehicle. And again, it looks pretty cool. It's a little disappointing for guys like me who are, gearheads who love having, a third pedal, also known as manual transmission. But this is only automatic. And again, this is for, the fastest, best thing that Ford can make. And it's going to be, breaking lap records left and right. And it looks pretty cool. They took it's got the regular Ford Mustang. And of course, they make it much more angular. Give us some, maybe, great. Look at the size of those tires. Those brake calipers, probably the size of some leftist thighs. I mean, geez Louise, they're huge. Those disc brakes are probably the size of a dinner plate, too. Got some stopping power, which makes sense. I mean, that's a big component of the drag races is stopping. Well, although Mustangs, they're mainly known for hitting pedestrians at car shows. I'm only partially kidding. But cool to see, this coming to the market. Even more excited to see when the first one's actually going to be used as intended. But again, I don't know, even if I won the lottery and or, once I go to my business to the point where I can buy toys like this, I still would never buy it because you know me, it's got to have, I love the fact that it's got an American V8, but my cars will always have a third pedal, also known as manual transmission. But let me know if you had, that amount of money, you had to spend it on a sports car. Would you get, a nice, 911 Porsche GT3 RS, or, well, that's auto only, is disappointing. You just get a nice Porsche 911 GT3 or Porsche Turbo S 911, or would you rather get the Porsche or some other comparable vehicle? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the Cultural Problem Podcast, you have a truck pushing through a mob, and they're going viral on social media as riots erupt all over the United States. Now, this is brought to us thanks to someone by the name of Matthew Nicole over on X. His hashtag is MatthewNicole5. Again, MatthewNichol 5. And he says, what else is the driver supposed to do? Here you can see a bunch of mentally vacuous protesters who, again, are standing in the street, which I don't know how that's not already, it's ridiculous. And in some places, they actually have more rights than you when it comes to protesters blocking traffic and making our lives total hell. Now, this is, of course, it is a Dodge pickup truck with the side mirrors popped up, but I partially digress. It's a kind of a Dodge thing. But you have someone who is dumb enough to stand in front of the truck with trailer. Again, it's a big truck. I think it's a Dodge, good old Hemi 1500, 2500. It's a big boy. But without too much further ado, maybe, I was about to say, maybe they'll impress us with their intellect and, dodge out of the way or walk out of the way of the truck. Of course they won't. They're mentally vacuous protesters wearing a mask outside in 2025. And of course, they have more really weak-looking leftists with, I don't think they've ever done a single bicep curl in their life. Look at those scrawny arms. Attempting to hit the Dodge truck. They're not actually hitting the Dodge truck. Much more protesters going after the trailer. Total anarchy and chaos. And thankfully for the truck owner, they survived. And they got some nice posters there. I can't believe standing in front of a truck I got hurt. Oh my god, oh my gosh. Trucks are dangerous? No. I can't think it's just like an NBA thing where also exaggerating and or making up injuries. But thankfully, it looks like the truck owner is safe. Again, we've seen instances like Chop over in Oregon years ago during the George Floyd some riots where they're blocking traffic and actually executing people that went in there. And even more concerning when you have the leftist hellholes like Oregon, and even places like Austin, where you had these people taking over the streets. If you defend yourself, they put you in jail. Crazy. Now, this has already got 14.2 million views as well as 132,000 likes. One of the first comments comes to us thanks to NC Shairila. Says, quote, no charges to the man who drove through the Tulsa protesters. DA says the truck was attacked. This is in Tulsa, even in Oklahoma. And yeah, of course they were attacked. There's literally a mob in the street attacking the truck and trailer. Getting 16,000 likes. So for once, actually, the good guys actually might not get prosecuted and thrown in jail. Dr. Curtis Spicoli says, quote, it's from 2020, bro. Matthew Knoll says, I know, getting 2.5 thousand likes. Again, it's also kind of cyclical. A lot of these things go viral time and time again. Jesse Cox says, no doubt the driver's life was in danger. He acted in self-defense, gained 22,000 likes. Yep. That is actually how Matthew also responded, saying, yep, getting 4.4 thousand likes. Terry McKeevel says, quote, in Tulsa, in recent years, a mob shut down I-44. A truck and trailer full of horses tried to ease through because the horses were panicking. The protesters poured gasoline into the trailer and set it on fire. One horse had to be euthanized, so the horse people don't stop for riders if they keep moving. We don't hate these crazy bastards enough. Getting 10,000 likes. Oh, I thought it could be an extra like to get 11,000. Nevertheless, just 10,000. Matthew Nicole responds saying, I loathe this trash, getting 3.6 thousand likes. Yeah, I was going to say, if you want another John Wick movie in real life, go after a rancher's or a farmer's horse or dog and see what happens. I believe as a youth might say, F around and find out. Pretty sure that's the saying still. Throwing down more and more. The Buck You Will, interesting profile name, says, anyone remember this? 1992 reminder of why don't stop for protesters. And here you can see a Peterbilt semi-truck, which the driver was, his life was ended. They got 10,000 likes, and Matthew Nicole said on target game 1.4 thousand likes. Bob Kelly says, quote, sometimes you shouldn't be doing something, bad things happen to you. Apparently this person was injured from the moving truck. Who in the right mind would run in front of a truck? It's a death sentence. In 3.4 thousand likes. Rolling down, yeah, Stacy Welch saying, quote, this is a very old footage, getting 236 likes. Now Matthew said, quote, I put it because the insanity is going to happen again, getting 939 likes. Lori Love 7 says, quote, how Evan hysterically dumb do you have to be to get in front of a 5,000 pound moving chunk of steel and then be shocked and horrified when someone gets run over? These are the crazies we are up against. Liberalism is a mental disorder, getting 954 likes. Now, thankfully, there's a pretty common cure, actually. Basic, going to the gym, reading the Bible, going to work, working hard in general. I'm only partially kidding. Though you do see people in terms of self-improvement, yeah, lifting weights. More guys are, mostly libertarian guys on the right are doing it, as you can see from their lack of biceps. Throwing down more and more. You have a Democrat talking a donkey holding a microphone that says MSM and says, quote, I'm telling y'all they're peaceful protests. That was credited to Pablo Irantas, getting 397 likes. Oh, geez. Passive Mike says, keep going. It's a parody of a child book, and it says, I don't break for communist. There's a kid in like a little vintage Chevy Bel Air cartoon and a dog came back, and they're both happy. Then under the kid, or under the car, is a protesting kid that says, burn the USA. And they got 761 likes. It is fascinating to see the cultural change and shift in the United States. It used to be very much against communism, and now you have many people, almost half political aisle, cheering for communism. You have the Immortal using the GM office meme from The Office, where he points at the whiteboard, in which he says, quote, TikTok did not make people dumb. TikTok just showed us how dumb people really are. Getting 717 likes. The Immortal also has a meme, as some people might call it, of Skeletor from the He-Man series. It says, he's sitting contemplating life and says, don't be the bigger person today, be that person that helps understand. Sometimes when you F around, you find out. Getting 643 likes. Steve has, I think Steve actually posted this yesterday. He also has the little picture of a truck with everyone running around. It says, all lives splatter. No one cares about your protest. Keep your ass off the road. Getting 1.6 thousand likes. True. Some of us need to get to work and actually be productive members of society. Granted, most of us have jobs to get to. However, I would also, you could argue, because a lot of these protesters are paid, that is their job. Mihadi Sagandhar says, quote, if you're questioning the choice between getting somewhere and harming or killing another human, you're not normal. Get help. Yeah, 739 likes and 123 comments were they ratioed. No, Rakusar says maybe they shouldn't have been protesting in the middle of effing road. Good point, getting 70 likes. Make it 71. Jesse Parker says, yeah, but put it in the park and what's it say? Yes, put it in park and patiently get killed. Getting 38 likes. Yeah, referring to the truck driver. Yeah, because we've seen time and time again, when these drivers are surrounded by a mob, if they play nice and stop, it's almost like Fallujah or Detroit or Chicago. You're never getting out of there in one piece. I can't imagine the horror of being a family or having a family and you're in a car in a downtown area and this stuff happens. So you should always be prepared. Jay says, the question is, do you keep driving or you stop and might get killed, getting 119 likes? Going back to the main comment section, Greg says, well, he should have drove faster for a start. Wow, getting 227 likes. Patriot Barry says, quote, when a mob descends onto your vehicle, it becomes a life-threatening situation and you have to escape by any means possible to save your own life. And yes, that could mean hitting the gas. Getting 479 likes. Sneab says, quote, this is a correct response. Cannot stop for a mob as they have been proven to be murderous. Getting 293 likes. Oh, geez, Louise. Dark humor here. Although it's a white truck, so maybe it's not, I don't know, trying to kid, but it's not working well. Kim Rory has a picture of a Dodge Ram. I think it's 2500. The rims are definitely aftermarket and larger than probably this whole table, but it's a white truck with a red splatter on front. It says 2025 Dodge Ram Protester Edition. They got 98 likes. As a Beowulf saying, quote, why do some people stand in front of a moving vehicle then act like victims when they get plowed over by them? Getting 556 likes. Yeah, common lack of common sense, but also in some places they actually will get, well, not just will leftists give them kudos points, but they'll get monetary damages from this. They'll try to sue the driver. In some cases win, as asinine as that sounds. Definitely a lot of bad judges out there incentivizing them as well. But yeah, not too many contrarian comments in this regard. And again, this is an old video, but it's going viral yet again. I think we're going to see more and more of these, not just reoccurring videos, but I think we'll also see a lot of new footage as you have more and more riots throughout the United States. But let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Other interesting cultural news, you have the comment section without Brett Cooper making an average of $0 and still only losing subscribers, which I suppose they'll get better any day now, just like Detroit and Chicago. Haha, political pun. Yeah, they shall not. Now, brought to us thanks to thesocialblade.com, one of my favorite websites. Go to the comment section again. She still has 3.8 million subscribers, which is huge, as Trump would say. Huge, so many subscribers, so many more, so much, but there's actually losing a lot. In terms of how she's been doing lately, in the past 30 days, she's lost 20,000 subscribers. And in terms of views, the views are down $54 million in the past 30 days. Not to brag, but my views are up by like 1,000. But still, statistically speaking, growing, which in comparison is pretty impressive. Now, of course, hilarious part, and the headline here is, well, the estimated monthly earnings between $0 and $0, which again is impossible. Though if you take into account, the overhead or cost of her salary and all the infrastructure behind it, one could argue it's zero or negative, but it is funny to see the Social Blade monthly earnings being $0. Now, granted, they do have a yearly estimated earnings of 121,000 to 1.9 million, and I suspect it's probably maybe 60 to 70, because again, they're only losing subscribers. Now, again, if you sign up for a free account, not even an affiliate link, just letting you know, I might pay for a paid version, but you get just from the last 14 days, you get the last 30 days analytics in terms of the daily metrics. And as you can see, she's putting about, she's getting a lot of content in terms of volume. She's putting about 3 to 4 videos per day on average, but again, only losing subscribers. Like, again, she's gaining some views, but yeah, not doing great. So on average, she's losing 667 subscribers, again, per day, and not looking great. Again, with 20,000 people unsubscribing in the past 30 days, which, I guess that's impressive in a bad way. And again, this all happened because Brett Cooper famously left the show and is now, it's being run by Reagan Conrad. And ever since that inflection point, it's exactly when the subscribers went negative. With, I think the worst week was December 23rd, 2024, when they lost 180,000 subscribers, which is insane amount. Of course, looking at the gains in terms of the views, those all went downhill as well. And it's not looking great. Here you can see the monthly gain subscribers, that chart right there. Which, ow. Actually, no, I think it's negative. She lost 380,000 subscribers in a single, is that by month? Yeah, in a single month. Jeez. In terms of, the monthly, the views are down. I can't help but think at this point they're losing money on this channel. Now, again, they have Daily Wire Plus, they have ad reads, they have a lot of avenue streams for the revenue. But again, Ben Shapiro publicly has said the largest percentage of income from the company is still YouTube ads. I'll actually go to, let's see here, pull up one of her videos really quick here. See, even after all this time, I almost said Brett Cooper again. Oh. Okay, maybe she has millions of followers and everyone loves her now. Or comments.
Maybe, just maybe, we were all wrong about Hailey Bieber. Now, before I get into the details of what just happened, there was another thing that went viral last week with Justin Bieber. They were trending because Justin said something about what he said.
And still the same voice tone, mannerisms, body language in studio as Brett Cooper. Which again, I think is one of the reasons this channel is failing, because they try to do what, the late night show does when you just change out the host. And in this case, the show is too personal. It was all about, obviously Brett Cooper. In fact, that, again, she has the same mannerisms. I mean, there's even allegations that she's using the same, acting coach. Yeah, pretty much everything's the same. They just put in her former friend. And it's obviously not doing great. It got 18,000 views. That's terrible. Again, for me, that'd be great. That would be a record. It really would. But again, in terms of the Daily Wire, which has 240 full-time employees and contractors, they have all that overhead. They have multiple studios. And this personality got 18,000 views in a video. Not even 1,000 likes. She got 972 likes. And granted, the comments are getting a little bit more positive, actually, because there's a lot of speculation they're actually censoring comments left and right. But yeah, she doesn't even get 1,000 likes per video, which, again, Brett Cooper is getting thousands upon thousands upon thousands. So it'll be interesting to see how long the Daily Wire keeps this up. Now, maybe one could argue the overhead cost isn't that bad in terms of, the Daily Wire already has a crew of makeup artists and editors. So you could argue maybe they don't have dedicated resource allocation just for the show. I find that hard to believe because, again, they only have 5 to 6 major personalities on the whole Daily Wire team. So, I mean, if I were to guess, and again, they're paying her something. I mean, she's not working for free. So again, a lot of people are alleging her salary, again, for a major podcaster on a major network, guessing $100,000 to $300,000 for someone like her in her position. I mean, at that point, they're going negative on this. And it's been, half a year. I think they're just kind of committed that we're just going to, keep this going. I don't think it's financially viable anymore as an actual show. But yeah, I think if they were to just, let her just do her own thing, not continue to have the same mannerisms, voice tone, and even hand gestures of Brett Cooper, I think it'd be a lot more successful. Still feels like Daily Wire is boxing her into, being like a Brett personality. But let me know in the comments, do you think this, is no longer financially viable? Do you think they'll just kind of let it peter out? Let me know your thoughts, because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Going over to the political part podcast, the Chicago mayor calling the ICE raids terrorism as another city burns to the ground. Now, this is, of course, Chicago, so that's kind of par for the course. But here you can see Mr. Johnson being as mentally vacuous as always. Now, this is credited thanks to End Wokeness, and he says, quote, Mayor Johnson on the ICE raids says that, well, this is the U.S. at the South would have won the Civil War, which is especially mentally vacuous, but of course, it's Mayor of Chicago. Now, he did suit up. He did one smart thing in his career. It's a low bar, yes, but at least he suited up for the occasion.
They are absolutely terrified. And that's, look, I remember a few stand-ups ago when I talked about what terrorism looks like. This is it. There should be no question to what our country would look like had the Confederacy won. We're seeing it on full display. And
Mayor of Chicago, folks, again, they keep voting for him time and time again. They got about 450,000 views and 4.2 thousand likes. And one of the first comments comes to us thanks to Based Electrician, who, A+ for marketing, you know exactly what he is. Oh my gosh, it went up 30 likes in a second. It's like a stock. Well, not some stocks. He says, quote, so if the Confederacy had won, Brandon Johnson would be destroying Chicago as the elected mayor, getting 283 likes. Which, yeah, I'm sure Chicago will be good and safe next year. Haha, political pun. Just like the Chicago Bears, historically speaking, no, that shan't happen. Chicago Bears, last time they won the Super Bowl, those pictures were saved to a floppy disk. It's an outdated media format, well, except for nuclear missiles. And you only know now as a save icon in Microsoft programs. Now, you also have Gunther Eagleman says, quote, Major Johnson is a racist shit, getting 5,000 likes. You also have Sarcasm Is Wit saying, quote, hey, Grok, what is Major Johnson's most recent approval ratings? Now they say, quote, Mayor Brandon Johnson's most recent approval rating from February to the 95th. Prestigious poll is 6.6%. Oh my God. indicating significant public dissatisfaction. Yeah. They said it's as high as 14% in January. Wow. 6.6%. Statistically speaking, even my clips on the show are better rated than the mayor of Chicago. Mega Gay says, quote, why is it always about race with this moron? Getting 664, wow, 703 likes. XAlert says 6% approval rating, getting 1.3 thousand likes. Robney says, quote, I'm really concerned about these riots in Chicago. I think they have the ability to get 10 times worse than LA, getting 35 likes. That's not inconceivable. I mean, so Chicago does best is, crime, riots. See that. Sarah Smith says, quote, I wish this were false, and she has a picture that says Democrats love criminals, getting 27 likes. I mean, they love electing them too. I mean, look at when was the last time Chicago had a mayor that was not later proven to be corrupt and sent to jail or fined? Cynthia Bama says, quote, does he not know how the Democrats were the Confederates? He needs to read a history book, getting 53 likes. Ryan Ben says, all bless your heart, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson. This is the U.S. and the South lost the war. They have a picture of the KKK with Democrats then, and then now it's the rioters getting 105 likes. You also have Darkstar saying, quote, Chicago keeps electing dumb Fs like him, don't they? Getting 24 likes. Community Notes says, yes, that is in fact true. Johnny R says, if the Confederacy had won, Davis and Stevens CSA would probably abide by the Constitution that the Founding Fathers had written, getting 28 likes. Ludino says, quote, he does realize that the Republicans did win the war, right? Getting 219 likes. AS has a famous quote from Martin Luther King Jr., and it's one of his quotes says this, when you realize that the people, or sorry, he wanted people to be judged by his character, that was what he was all about. Now, the meme says, quote, when you realize you realize your people were being judged by the content of their character all along, getting 20 likes. Also have Copen saying, quote, the U.S. is the way it is because the South lost. The biggest mistake was not, pretty racist, shipping African Americans back. You all know that's true, even if you say it won't. Getting 26 likes. Was he ratioed? Because he got 8 responses. Oh, I like this response. This response from Michigan Smartass says, quote, that's a really dumb comment. Johnson has 6.6% approval rating, which means black people really hate him too. So we all have a lot in common. I get your trolling, but come on, get some better material than the Biden-esque tropes that you're spewing. I got more than 2 likes, but I did like the response to Mr. Open. Going down more and more. Johnson Robertson says, quote, not really. If the South would have won, there would be no illegals, and 29 likes. James says, quote, if the South would have won, he wouldn't have been mayor. How does he not see that? Getting 12 likes. Echo for Echo says, quote, had the South won the war, Mayor Johnson would not be mayor of Chicago. Give Mayor Johnson the political moron award for this empty statement. Getting 18 likes. Oh, there we go. So, yeah. I don't think at this point anyone's, I don't think anyone's really surprised by these comments. And, I mean, we'll see what happens when it comes to the future of Chicago and what happens with the riots and the chaos. But let me know, do you think the outlook is going to get any better? I mean, do you think he'll win his re-election? Let me know your thoughts, because, as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have a child highchair being recalled because it might cause serious injuries, including death. Now, this is brought to us thanks to the United States Consumer Product Safety Commission, perhaps the only useful government website. Granted, it is a pretty darn low bar, which they say, quote, Bunleo convertible high chairs recalled due to risk of serious injury or death from fall and entrapment hazards. Violations of the federal standards of high chairs sold by Eco Goods. Eco Goods. This is good for the environment, they claim. There you can see the recalled high chair, though, right there. Now, they say that, quote, the hazard. The recalled high chairs pose a deadly entrapment hazard because the opening between the seat and the tray is large enough that a child can become entrapped in it. In addition, the child restraint system can fail, posing a fall hazard. These are violations of the federal standards for high chairs. Now, thankfully, in terms of the scope of this recall, it's not too big, so to say. This is affecting 380 specific units. Now, they say that, quote, the high chairs are made of natural wood with a tray and removable padded seat insert that is green with forest theme. Bunleo is printed on the top front of the high chair and the tracking label beneath the tray, model FL-039. Here you can see the under tray. Again, model number is FL-039 is also printed on the tracking label. You say that consumers should immediately stop using the recalled high chair, disassemble it, and contact Eco Goods for information about how to receive a full refund. Consumers will be instructed to cut the restraint straps and email photos of disassembled and destroyed components to Funleo product recall at outlook.com, which, again, I don't judge it. Well, most, I guess they don't want their email, being blown up, so to say, but it is kind of funny that, again, it's not their domain. It's, Funleo product recall at outlook.com, which, again, I understand you get all the bad emails going to that one address, but to me, it still made me laugh. Like, it's not their actual company domain, but I partially digress. They did note that EcoGoods is contacting all known purchasers directly, and thankfully, when it comes to this recall, they got ahead of the situation. And again, no one's been injured, hurt, or has passed away because of specific product design issue. So again, a little bit of a glass half full in this case. Now they note that, geez Louise, talk about a high price point to me. Says, quote, they were sold on Amazon.com and Walmart.com from March 2024 through March 2025 for about $100. They're sold by, well, I'm going to butcher this, but not on purpose, Shanghai Balijiao E-Commerce Co. Limited, doing business as EcoGoods of China. China. And the recall number is 25-318. And then again, thankfully they got ahead of the situation, but geez Louise, I don't know how they miss simple dimensions when they're putting this together, or more accurately, when they're going through research, design, development of this product. So I gotta say, Funleo, and again, it's child products, gotta be especially careful that you're making things to up to specs, so to say. So I gotta say, Funleo, you are certainly the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 6,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, and a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.